Welcome to the Movie Club, where we watch movies new and old, and we analyze them like a local book club.
Our goal here is to talk about movies that we love and hate, and find out why you love and hate them along with us.
So who are we? My name's Josh. I'm your average, everyday moviegoer.
And I'm Tyler, recent graduate from film school. We don't always agree about movies.
But we love talking about them. And maybe get into an argument here or there.
A little bit. For our first episode, we watched the movie Moon. It's directed by Duncan Jones and stars Sam Rockwell.
Our discussion will definitely ruin the movie for you. Hashtag spoiler alert. So if you haven't watched it already, please make sure you go and do so before you continue to watch this episode.
Plus, having seen the movie will definitely help you add to the discussion.
So let's get into it. I made a little note here. It says, starting off on a bad note, because I'm not usually into outer space. It's not really my thing. If it deals with aliens or the moon, you would think, the moon as a title could go many places, I feel like. You know, it could be werewolves, it could be astronauts. We said hashtag spoiler alert. Sorry, not sorry. I was starting off on a bad note because the first in the title frame was an astronaut. And I'm like, oh, it's gonna be one of those. But on a secondary note, I was sold with the first commercial. Literally, the commercial of the movie. I was like, okay, I can get into this.
What to you is the main struggle for the character?
I thought there were several. It's him versus nature, but it wasn't quite evident, or it wasn't one of the problems that you would expect from a movie in space. Like, they didn't use the atmosphere of the moon as a problem for him, but I feel like it could have been.
That's a really good point. They didn't use the whole lack of oxygen and stuff like that.
There was a part they kind of touched on it when he crashed into the harvester.
Yeah, but he just puts his helmet on.
Yeah, but so in that sense, it was like man versus nature. But it was him. I wish they kind of played more with the hallucinations, or less.
Maybe a little bit less, because I didn't understand who the woman was.
Yeah.
That keeps showing up, because it's not his wife, and they never touch on him cheating on her.
That's unanswered question number one. Although I was like, maybe it's a daughter, he's having visions of what his daughter would look like.
Maybe.
Because that looked like, but the only correlation that I made was that in the end, when he was on the phone with her. And man versus man, because as the story progresses, this corporation really seems like a huge enemy.
Whenever I'm trying to analyze a movie and make notes about it, I would start writing down the characters so that I better remember their names, like who they are and how many there are. And I was starting to realize, how would you really count how many characters there are in this movie? Because Sam Bell, essentially, there ends up being 4 Sam Bells.
Yeah.
Because there's the original one, but you never really see, you hear him. Mm-hmm. Then there's the first clone. Then there's the second clone.
It's funny because he's like the 4th Sam Bell, number 4.
No.
In terms of being shot.
No, there's more.
There's more?
Yeah, I did the math.
Oh.
that at one point, it was bothering me. When he calls his daughter, he finds out she's 15. When he started his tour, she was like just born, right? Mm-hmm. So that means that he was there for 3 years and he was coming home. Mm-hmm. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. Yeah. So every 3 years there's a new clone. And they don't send them back, they just incinerate them? Is that what that was? I think that's what was
There's happening. Like this coffin thing where they like go there. So he has a 3-year contract where he's harvesting moon rocks.
Helium-3 out of moon rocks.
Out of moon rocks. He has a 3-year contract, so when he fulfills his contract, he's supposed to go back to Earth. There's just a whole shit ton of Sam Bells just stored in a cabinet downstairs. That's pretty huge. It's like the biggest fucking cabinet. And they just pull the next one out, call it a day, and then so they lay down in the space coffin. Closed.
Right.
And
like flash freezes because the idea is that he's being like cryogenically frozen to be sent home.
Yeah. But I don't think it was I don't think freezing was involved at all. I think it was a flash incineration because it looks like you can see him clearly and then he just turns to powder. Because the thing vacuums him out, so they must incinerate him.
Does the original Sam actually know that this is happening?
I made a note about that too.
Do you think he's in on it and like
that's
he's
one of the last
getting compensated?
I think that 100%. Because so this is kind of.
I don't think he knows.
I wouldn't say he doesn't either. Through the recordings of his wife and his daughter, it seemed like they were at a really nice house.
Right.
And I don't know how astronauts live these days, but I feel like from Black Mirror placing their consciousness into things, and such. I got that kind of vibe where he knows that he got this, and he's just getting compensated. And then they have this vast source of income now, taking energy from a totally different, useless flying rock in the sky that no one's harvesting. They're harvesting this energy, they're sending it back to the planet, so their income is substantial, so they can continue to compensate him for whatever, you know. And I'm sure there's definitely something that could be debated whether one way or the other, you know, the best lawyer wins in this case, because he could legitimately not know. Like, maybe he got compensated once, maybe he went on the original journey, maybe he didn't even go.
The way I was thinking of it, he probably went on this tour because the way these video messages were really like authentic seeming, right? Yeah. So he doesn't know that this is happening, because I feel like that's a huge ethical thing in the story.
I would agree.
Is that there's a huge problem with this. Like, this isn't okay what's happening.
Yeah.
And he probably went and lived there, and if you notice, like, they're constantly collecting samples of his DNA. When he was getting his hair cut with that vacuum thing, it's sucking up all his DNA, and
I didn't even think about that.
I don't think that he was in on it, because I think it's just adding to the whole concept of the corporation being just after money. Like,
I don't know though.
So
because
I think that what happened is that they took all these memories of his and these conversations with his wife, and they kept them, and then used it to keep feeding this program, and he has no idea that this is happening. Like,
I would agree with that.
To me, that's so much more screwed up than if he were like, yeah, sure, you can use my DNA to make clones, because then why would he have ever gone up there in the first place?
Maybe he was the only one who was trained and certified. Like, maybe he was the one who originated the program and needed the funding, and he's like, listen, I'll sell you this entire concept if you keep me compensated for the rest of my life and the rest of my family's life, or as long as the company is around.
But they also took advantage of him, because he clearly has, based on these messages and everything with his wife, he has a problem at home. There's issues between him and his wife. That's why he's there.
He would have had to originally go. If he didn't originally go, he would have had to spend 3 years away from his family on the same planet. So if he didn't originally go, there wouldn't have been that telecommunication.
Unless she was in on it too, and that they acted all this stuff out.
But I don't think they would have.
I don't think that's.
I think he went, and that's probably how the case went. It's like, okay, when you're done, we're gonna have someone else fill your spot, not knowing that the other people that are gonna be filling his spot are him.
Right, yeah, clones of him that they made without his permission.
Which is nuts. That it brings up a whole different spectrum of clones, because usually, like, when you see clones in movies, you're like, oh, it's a clone, nobody cares about the clone, the clone's an easy write-off. If the clone's head got chopped off, no one would care. You know, in this one, you're actually, like, your heart is wrenching for these clones.
Yeah.
Because they're like lab rats.
They're not even lab rats, they're farm equipment.
Yeah, that's more accurate. That's 100% more accurate. From the beginning, I thought that they were setting Gertie up to be a bad guy. And, like, I guess that would be more of a man versus nature thing.
No, man versus technology.
Okay.
You see, the way you said that to me, it sounds like it's almost like they're trying to make it like a HAL 9000 thing from 2001 Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
You've never seen that?
That's
oh, boy. Oh, boy. Alright. You're gonna hate that movie.
Like, I feel like Gertie's gonna go crazy. And then I put hashtag Kevin Spacey, because, like, I haven't seen many movies where he plays, like, a good guy.
Yeah, it's because he's a douchebag.
Yeah, you know. I was so ready for Gertie to just be like, now we're gonna do things my way.
Right, and like the emojis, like his face is just emojis.
Yeah,
there's something,
I thought that was fun.
There's something really sweet about it, but also this thing might turn and kill me. Like, I just totally imagine it walking up with its claw with the smile on its face, just like.
But then also, my next note is, Gertie's the fucking liar! Ah! Because the clip, when they had the live interaction,
right,
he's like, nothing, I was just sending a message.
Yeah, it's straight up just lied to him.
Yeah! And then I put, there's a third note, and it's like, later, and like, shortly after that, I was like, he's totally gonna fuck shit up.
Well, yeah, I mean, it ends up being that Gertie is his best friend. Yeah. Like, he really was his best friend, and Gertie's programming is to just take care of him.
Yeah, I think that was really sweet.
Turns into being such a great person, for lack of a better term.
I was like, oh, maybe the robot's nice.
Which is also interesting in what I was talking about with counting characters. Like, Gertie's a character, and everything is a character in this movie. But all the harvesters are characters because he named them. All the plants are characters because he named them too.
They all look like slimy.
Right.
Am I wrong?
A little bit. Yeah. So here's a question that I have for you guys, as well as Josh. How do you separate the movie that you're watching and you love, or maybe have loved for years, when you find out that an actor in it is somebody like Kevin Spacey, who sexually harasses people?
First of all, I didn't know this. Second of all, I've always been that he's sexually harassed.
He's one of these people.
Oh wait, no, I did know that.
Yeah.
That was fairly recent, right?
Yeah.
Like within the last year or two. I think the best thing for me personally as a moviegoer. The best thing to do is separate yourself from your emotional feelings of the character, but I think that is also hard.
That's the confusing thing at this point.
If I chose to hate the movie too, that would be my prerogative, I think.
Yeah, no, that's... I think right. No, I agree with that, but I mean, I'm just saying in the sense of, like, no matter what, it's down to your prerogative, but I'm talking about in the sense of these mass issues.
I think it's kind of messed up, though, because I don't think the other people who are getting money for it should suffer.
Right,
and by doing that...
Because that's something that I think a lot of people don't realize. And I haven't heard anybody, like, even in school, like, when I'm talking to other film students about these issues, and they talk about, oh, I'm just not going to watch this anymore because somebody's in it. I'm like, well, what if you were, like, the sound grip on, you know, this movie for a couple of weeks, and now all of a sudden, because of some structured contract or whatever, you're not going to make as much money out of it, or you're possibly not going to get as much exposure because this movie or show isn't being watched because of something that this actor did. And it's really frustrating to me, because I think that person, should be punished by, like, not getting their exposure, but what about all the other people that were involved in that movie? And then on top of it too, there's still the fact that it was this artwork, somebody put their heart and soul into it. You know, the writer and director and everybody, like, loved that movie. That's why they made it. Like, that's why they wrote it. And now it's not going to be a thing, all because of this one person. And it's not like, I mean, everything's being remade these days, but it's not like you can just go remake the movie just because.
To the caliber that it was.
Right. I just think it's an important question that I'm actually really curious about from just people in general. And it's something that I'm probably going to pose a lot, because I'm sure nobody's watching this first video. But I actually do want to ask that question a lot.
I'm down for that.
So when did you first realize that something strange was going on with Sam's life?
It was like just before he went to find the other one. The other Sam. I can't pinpoint. Because I have here plot twist. I was not expecting there to be two Sams, let alone 500.
Right. Yeah, I wish I could remember.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the movie a couple of times now. I think this is probably like the fourth time I've seen it. I loved the way they shot that transition from him having the accident, and then he's in the infirmary. Yeah. And that's when I think that's when I first realized that something was off, because if they were able to, if Gertie was the only other person there, was able to get him back into the infirmary from the rover, then why do they need him there at all? Yeah. Because if it's able to perform tasks like that, it could have just been all automated. Yeah. You know what I mean?
100%.
Without having a person there, which I think also adds into that whole ethical discussion about why this is even a thing in the first place. Mm-hmm. I think that's when I first started to realize that something was off, but of course I didn't really know why. I was just like, you know what, it's a movie. Like, they're just not
I kept saying that too.
And then it gets to the point where he finds the other one, and I was like, what? Yeah. Okay, so I have another question. What is your favorite one-liner from the movie?
I did enjoy when we both left. I can't quote it right now, because I've only seen it the one time.
You look like a radioactive tampon.
Yes,
maybe a banana with a yeast infection.
I feel like I couldn't have laughed appropriately at banana with a yeast infection because I was still stuck on radioactive tampon. Right. Like, especially because he looked like he was like
right. It is big and puffy yellow suit. But the best part is Sam Rockwell's voice for that. Like, he's just his delivery for comments like that.
It was just like
it's just his voice. Where he's got that, just, I don't know where he's from, but his accent, whatever his dialect and inflections are, like, You look like a radioactive tampon.
Yeah. It was like you're talking to your best friend, but they really didn't like know each other at the time.
They didn't like each other at all.
No,
They were terrified of each other.
Yeah. And then to like talk, it's like a comment. And the funny thing is, I think it's a comment you would talk to yourself about.
Right.
Like you're looking in the mirror, and it's like I think that may have been improv, and he thought that when he was in the dressing room getting changed.
Possible.
He's like, you look like a fucking radioactive tampon. So he's like, I'm adding that. They don't know that, but I'm adding that because it didn't really go with the flow of the movie either.
No.
And
it really kind of broke that whole thing with his character where he was trying to be the nice one.
Yeah.
Between the two of them, because the new clone, the new Sam Rockwell was.
Mean.
The new Sam Bell.
Oh, yeah.
is the original version of himself where he hasn't grown over spending his 3 years there as a person, and he's still like a hot-headed asshole. But now he's losing his mind, and he's because of all this.
That's true.
He's snapped, and he's just like, I'm going to be a dick.
I'm like,
You're a radioactive tampon.
You're a banana with a yeast infection.
Yeah, that was one of the things was when you, in the sense of do you think he's in on it and everything, I think part of what reinforces me thinking that he's not in on it is based off of the character's progression, because you get a really unique perspective in this movie of a character's progression of them growing as a person, because when you start the film, it's him already as grown as a person because he's been there for the 3 years and everything, and then when the new clone shows up, now it's back, he's reset himself essentially, because he's now that same hot-headed person that had a problem with his wife and stuff like this when he first got there.
Yeah.
And I think that it's really interesting to see those two sides of a person clash.
Yeah. Well, that coupled with like, just because you make a clone doesn't necessarily mean the clone gets the memories that you have.
Well, that was what they were saying, is that the memories were uploaded into it, almost like it. So almost like they figured out like a Total Recall type of a thing, where they can access your brain and like implant memories.
That makes sense. But then muscle memory too. That wouldn't be a thing. I feel like there'd be atrophy and like all kinds of, especially when they're fucking saran wrapped in a box. Like,
well, there is atrophy.
You're right.
I mean, when he got out of the bed, he couldn't walk. He was like, why aren't my legs working?
I think that was it was inexplicable, because it's like, there's no way, even if it was like 3 weeks that he was in a bed, there's no way he would not be able to walk that much.
Right.
I could be wrong. I mean, some people don't get out of the bed.
Well, that's all we have for today. We hope you enjoyed our first episode of Movie Club.
We intend to post videos every other Friday until we get into a rhythm where we can post more frequently every week.
If you enjoyed your time here, please subscribe, like, and share. Also, leave us a comment with a suggestion on what we should watch in the future.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to check us out again in 2 weeks when we watch Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo.